Hi everyone, this is Dr. Katherine.Kelly, and I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday for Soul Wisdom Wednesday. And I just wanted to kind of continue the conversation from last week's video. I had lots of comments about the topic of what happens when you don't have the parents that you wanted. And I had comments on social media. I had people emailing me. I had people talking to me in sessions. I had basically people that I know outside of here kind of talking to me about it. And I wanted to continue the process a little bit because I probably spend at least half of my day, if not more, talking with clients about what happens when you don't have the families overall that you wanted. Now, I hear everything that goes on in the news, and here, probably being a psychologist and also doing the soul work that I do, I can see through a whole lot of what people deal with and how it really oftentimes does come down to their family of origin, the family they grew up with, and the events that happened in that time. Because, those in psychology terms, those are our formative years. And if we are getting formed with dysfunction or chaos or disrespect or whatever it might be, abuse, we take that with us no matter what. We don't have a choice but to take that with us. And so I spend a lot of my time working through some of those concerns with people and Emmy's drinking some water, sorry if you hear that in the background. You kind of have to think about the fact that if you have a family that you've really struggled with, you have a hard time with different beliefs, you have a different political view, you have had some abuse and the other people don't see it, if you have had different kinds of things go on where you feel as if you were disrespected, or that your boundaries are pushed, or that there were no boundaries. There's all these different things that end up coming into a therapy session. And from a soul level, from a very deep soul level, that impacts us in a way that, again, is sometimes irreparable, but it's there to help us learn. It's just like when I did the video last week about when parents aren't the parents that we wanted. They might have been the parents we needed in order for us to learn and grow and evolve. And that can get really challenging to want to accept and receive when we've had difficult upbringings. And I've had client after client after client these last few weeks really talking about how they've disengaged from family. They've realized that, that they are not healthy for them. They're toxic, or they're disrespectful to them, or they don't accept them for who they are. And, we are in this wave of evolution where people are finally starting to live for their own souls. They're starting to live for figuring out what fits for them, what doesn't fit for them. And I think that's causing a lot of disruption in some ways, but it's also causing a whole lot of alignment. So we really can't align sometimes unless we disrupt our lives from the patterns that we grew up with, the patterns that we knew at the time, but that, it's time to outgrow those patterns. And so I've had client after client after client. I've had friends, I've had colleagues, I've had other people that have really distanced from their families because they weren't the families they needed. There is no Beaver Cleaver family, for those of you who even remember what the Beaver Cleaver family was, or the Brady Bunch family, or the Waltons family, or any of those iconic TV families where everybody got along. It's rare to find that. In fact, I haven't found one yet that has actually been like that. But I think the thing is, we have to remember from a soul level that each and every experience we have is here for us to learn from and evolve beyond if it is unhealthy for us. And one of the topics I want to throw out there is the whole idea of grieving what we wish we had. Sometimes we have to grieve what we wish we had, both in our parents, maybe in a partnership, maybe in a job, maybe in a career choice, but oftentimes in a family, we have to grieve what we wish we had. And once I help people grieve what they wish they had, then they can move beyond what they do have and either disengage if they need to, or learn to accept it in a different way, whatever fits the situation. But from a soul level, oftentimes that disruption, and I can't underline this enough, but oftentimes, I shouldn't say often, all the time, that disruption is there for us to learn and grow from in one way or another, if we can open up the view and look at it from that perspective. So I know that I'm the eternal Pollyanna in a lot of ways, but it's really, you have to open up your consciousness. You have to widen the lens so you can understand that even the most difficult things in our lives are here for us to grow and learn, even if they push us in ways we don't want to be pushed. And oftentimes our families are one of those, and all of the different dynamics, all of the different ways that we do learn from those relationships, if we let ourselves, can be very challenging. But, it's interesting. I was thinking about a client that I was working with yesterday who she had had some very, very deep depression for a very long time. And when she was in yesterday, she was talking about how she's really, witnessed some other things going on in her extended family, but that it's not affecting her as much. And it hit me this morning that I really think part of the reason for that is that not only has she grieved what she wished she had and she moved beyond it, but she stopped engaging with them in the same way. And so it doesn't affect her the same way. And she's not trying to make something fit that doesn't fit. And so her depression has been much better for the last couple of years, actually. So it's one of those things where we have to really look at how all of this is connected. The human condition of how we experience life is very connected to the soul condition with how we experience life. But most people don't know how to look at this world from the soul condition perspective. So again, I'd love to hear comments about family and how this has affected you. I appreciate the comments from last week, but I just want to help you really continue to open up this idea of how the soul within us, the essence of who we are, is greatly impacted by our human condition, whether it's parents, whether it's family, partners, friends, and that the social parts of our lives are really the catalysts oftentimes for us to grow and evolve beyond our junk. So anyway, would love to hear your comments. If you aren't on my newsletter and would like to be, go to www.Dr.KatherineT.Kelly and sign up, and you'll get a monthly newsletter as well as updates on live events and other things that are coming up. So hope you have a wonderful day, and happy Soul Wisdom Wednesday. Thanks. Bye-bye.